The renowned actress from Dynasty, who played Crystal Carrington in the 1990s, enthralled the world with her performance. She was elegant, gorgeous, and a true delight to see, but at the age of 81, she was going through a major personal storm. Linda Evans revealed the whole truth about her terrible marriage to actor and director John Derek, who first won her heart before ruining it. The two met on the television program The Big Valley when Evan was still a young woman with big eyes and lots of potential, while Derek was 30 years older and a well-known personality in Hollywood. Linda was first attracted to Derek because of his reputation for being passionate and intense, but it's possible that this same intensity would result in years of emotional control and manipulation that pushed her to her breaking point. From the beginning, the relationship wasn't typical. Derek had an alarming pattern. Even before their relationship, he had been married to the glamorous Poti Bars and then was involved with the Hollywood star Ursula Andress. As made obvious, he would fall for young and vulnerable women, play them to his liking, and then completely erode and destroy their self-worth and confidence. This pattern showed true with Evans. The actress recalls that she was madly in love with him and stayed with him even when he stopped the actress from pursuing her career. As she states, she didn't realize how much she'd lose herself in the relationship. As is the case in many new relationships, Linda was eager to please Derek, often prioritizing and putting aside his dreams to support his ambitions and beliefs. When he insisted that she stopped working, she obliged without much opposition, even when her career was rising to the top. Stuck in the belief that it was the best decision for their marriage. It was, however, as more time passed, clear to an outsider that it was more about control, disguised under the nuance of love. It escalated into extremes soon after he was dictating how she was dressed and what people she could be friends with. Very quickly their love had taken an extremely toxic turn. It had become suffocating and no aspect of her life was her own. According to the actress, her husband had an obsessive need for control, with his idea of a perfect wife that he expected Linda to mold into, but the more she fit in, the more she lost her own self-identity, and because of her age as well as naivety, she thought that was how love worked. It's absolutely heartbreaking how men of older age can manipulate these young women when they do not know better. The situation continued to take a worse turn when Derek started an affair. True to his pattern, the person he had an affair with was Bo Derek, who was around just 18 years old at that time and was quite impressionable. She would later go on to be his next young wife. Evans was devastated by the betrayal, which she recalls as the lowest point of her life. She describes feeling inferior and worthless because the man she had dedicated her life to had blatantly betrayed her with a young, attractive woman she believed she would never be able to compete with. Despite this devastating time in her life, the actress ultimately chose to leave. Shed describes this moment now as a necessary wake-up call. So in 1973, after an estimated 8 years of turbulent marriage, Linda made the brave decision to leave John Derek. It was obviously a highly difficult decision for her. She was leaving the man that she adored and loved for almost a decade. It was clear to her, though, that in order to persevere herself, she had to make this choice. Linda, in hindsight, says that she had to discover herself without him. The situation had been so alarming that she had forgotten what it was like to have her own identity. The decision proved to be an essential one. Immediately after her departure, she had a turning point in her career. Even while dealing with the emotional baggage of the marriage and then consequently the divorce, she chose to work again. She had called her manager and said she wanted to get back into acting. It wouldn't be easy, though, as her manager warned her, but Linda still insisted it was a good thing. For just a few years later, she landed her iconic role of Crystal Carrington in Dynasty, which made her rise to stardom. There is a certain irony to the situation, as Evans remembers that this was the very decision that allowed her to succeed. Evans did not take this opportunity for granted. She gave her all and gave her all to her craft. The actress swiftly rose to fame in the 1980s television industry, winning multiple awards and winning over millions of fans. Even though the entire affair had seemed glamorous at the time, Evan laments that she wouldn't have gotten the role that changed her life for the better if she hadn't left her ex-husband Derek. Derek tried to control her in the name of love and gained great success in return. Later, Derek reflected on regretting her relationship with John Derek. In interviews, she talked about the emotional complexities and regrets associated with the relationship. Recalling those events, Bo expressed deep regret for her part in ending Evan's marriage to Derek. She claimed that because she was young and impressionable, she didn't fully understand the difficulties and repercussions of getting involved with a married man. Bo has acknowledged that the affair caused Evans a great deal of pain. Years later, Bo acknowledged and accepted responsibility for the emotional toll it took on both Evans and herself. She claimed that despite the fact that she was unaware of what she was getting herself into, there was a great deal of hurt involved. Thoughts serve as a reminder of how impetuous youth and poor choices can cause suffering for all parties concerned for a long time. Evans, now at 81, looks back at her time with John Derek with a more clean sense of clarity. She doesn't regret much, but realizes how much she lost during those naive years of her life. It took her a long time to forgive herself for staying as long as she did in that suffocating marriage. As she describes her healing journey in an interview, Evans said that she has learned that every experience, even the painful ones, teaches a person something, and her experience taught her that she deserved better. It had taught her the importance of loving herself first and foremost. It takes much reflection to reach these conclusions, especially after such a long and toxic relationship, but it is a blessing that she had a fulfilling healing journey. It is important to note that in this case it isn't simply about a wife and a homewrecker. Neither woman should be held responsible for these particular events. Instead, it is about the older man who manipulated and took advantage of barely adult women who were quite naive and impressionable at the time. Even Bo Derek, with whom he had the affair, was quite young and easily manipulated, as opposed to John, who was double her age and likely had a full grasp of what he was playing at. Evans' tale is a potent reminder that everyone has shadows, even the most brilliant people. Although her marriage to Derek was a difficult period in her life, it also served as the catalyst for her development into a stronger, more self-reliant woman. For anyone who has ever felt stuck in a relationship, Linda Evans' story is one of survival, resilience, and ultimately trust triumph. She rose above the emotional manipulation, rediscovered her identity, and built a successful career on her own terms. Evans says she is proud of the woman she has become rightfully, and goes on to say that she would not change her past because it led her to the free and happy person she is today. What do you think? Did Linda Evans' marriage to John Derek mold her as she claims, or was it just a sad chapter in a life full of fame? Evans' story is a beacon of hope, proving that it's never too late to break free and eventually reclaim your life. How do you feel about Bo Derek's involvement in the entire matter and her subsequent remorse? Do you also think John should bear at least some of the blame, rather than the two women? And subscribe to the Star Beats for more videos. Please share your opinions in the comments section below. I appreciate you watching.